Hello, hello. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. So we're going to be talking about scaling without chaos. But what do we mean when we talk about scaling when it's quite chaotic? We mean we're talking about growing quickly but feeling that operational strain. We're talking about not having the right amount of stock in place to serve your customers. So a fact that we often come back to is 77% of the negative reviews that are left on websites are due to operational issues rather than the products themselves. So that can be things like the order not arriving in time, the wrong order arriving, the order never arriving at all. But if you get the operation correct, if you achieve operational excellence, which is what we're going to be speaking about today, and you deliver on those promises to those customers that you've worked really hard to get, then you're going to get repeat business, you're going to get a larger average order value, and you're going to be able to attract new customers easily as well if you're delivering on those promises. But this ain't about me. This is about, we're going to be bringing up our esteemed panel. So, I guess put your hands together for Finn, James, and Kimberly. Cheers, guys. So, cool. Why don't we just go down the line and introduce ourselves and a little bit about what we do. So, Finn, I'm going to start with you.
Hello, everybody. That was a little bit louder than I expected. Hi, I'm Finn. I'm part of the Brightpearl team, alongside Ollie here, our fabulous panel host. I guess just a little bit of background about us. We're a retail operating, demand forecasting, purchasing platform. I'm not really here to talk about that. I speak to probably 20 growing retail brands on a weekly basis, and hopefully today I can just impart some of the things that I hear as common themes across brands and I guess how they are managing scaling without chaos, right? Really excited to be here.
Love that. Cheers, Finn. James, over to you, mate.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you're not too full from lunch and paying attention. So my name's James. I'm the COO at Beaconsfield. So we are one of the UK's leading teeth whitening companies. We were founded in 2019 by two very entrepreneurial brothers and have become one of the leading products on TikTok Shop. So yeah, I handle all the operations fun to try and maintain that scale and growth.
Great, you're in the right place. We're lucky to have you. Cheers, James. Kim?
Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly. I'm from Dublin and I am the founder of Naked Glow. We started out as a tannin brand and we've recently launched in 2024 our skincare range. We manufacture predominantly across Korea and yeah, I'm here to impart some of my wisdom about growing that brand.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that, Kim. Yeah, so we're going to stay on you. We're going to come to you first. So first question from me is we want to know, what was the biggest operational challenge you faced when moving from startup to scale up?
So I think for me, one of the biggest challenges I faced was definitely letting go of relying on my founder instinct solely. Because at the start it was kind of messy. I was making all the decisions myself. Everything was in my head. Things are moving quite quickly. We're an e-commerce brand. But once the brand started growing and scaling and we moved into the likes of B2B and retail, stuff like forecasting, product planning, product launches, that all became really, really important. And not that it wasn't important before, but I didn't really know much about it. So with that being said, I realized then that I need to stop relying on my instinct and, implement some proper structure and systems in place in order to continue to grow and scale, or else we would have got left behind.
Yeah, cool, makes sense. James, first question for you is all around when growth accelerates, what operational bottlenecks appear first, and can you stay ahead of them?
I think the top three that come to mind are inventory. So going out of stock, there's nothing worse than that. Customer experience, like you said on your introduction, and fulfillment. I think the way to stay ahead of that is a great partnership with your fulfillment company. I think using something like inventory planner or technology to make sure you're ahead and working with your forecasting. And I think the other kind of way to deal with it is just implementing processes so you've got visibility and everybody knows what they're doing to stay ahead of those bottlenecks.
Very cool. Cool answer. And then Finn, going to bring you into the conversation now. So Finn, from your point of view, when does operational complexity become a growth blocker for most brands?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, when operations start to scale is exactly as Kimberly was just saying. When you go from 1 to 2 channels, to 3 to 4 to 4 to 5 to new regions to new marketplaces, this is when it starts to become a little bit unmanageable. I know we've got a lot of founders in the room here today, and I think one of the biggest blockers is when founders remain like this sole source of truth for operations. I think that founders can end up just wearing so many hats across the business. I think for brands, it's about being proactive and not about being reactive in the way that you're sort of planning and stuff. I think the sort of non-glamorous side of it is data and systems and all that kind of stuff. And I think one of the biggest blockers is when data is in multiple systems, you've got sort of siloed approach, and you have multiple versions of the same truth. These are the kind of typical things I would say that businesses come to us with, and it is really preventing and holding back growth.
Cool. Cheers, Finn. Kim, back to you. You mentioned Korea earlier on. I want to know, how did international supply chain and manufacturing decisions shape your growth?
So I think choosing to manufacture internationally, specifically in Asia, has definitely shaped the entire trajectory of our brand. We manufacture predominantly across Hong Kong and Korea, and as some of you, women and men hopefully, may know, that Korea is extremely advanced when it comes to skincare, so the likes of formulations, ingredients, innovation, even down to the packaging. So manufacturing there really allowed us to create an innovative skincare line that also allowed us to create a affordable luxury skincare line that we could bring to Ireland, which there isn't many of, and innovative products that worked. So yeah, that's really shaped the trajectory of the brand and allowed us to grow. It's also allowed me to grow operational discipline, because with manufacturing overseas, you've longer lead-in times, higher MOQs. It's very scary for a small brand like myself to be taking 5,000 of a new product instead of 1. And sometimes it's 10,000 as well. So yeah, definitely has helped us grow and given me some operational discipline.
Cool. So James, coming to you now, and staying on the topic of operations. So what operational decisions have had the biggest impact on sustainable growth, would you say?
Leading on what Kimberly said, I think the supply chain management is really key. So for us, we changed suppliers, and not only did that help with payment terms, the speed of manufacturing, but also cost saving as well. So I think when you get to a certain level, you're using one manufacturer, and then you can go, when you grow a little bit more, you've got more leverage, so you can go to the next level. So I think definitely from a supply chain management point of view, that's one area. Fulfillment is a big one, right? A customer orders, they don't care who's putting it in the box or sending that out, but you need to make sure that's as streamlined as possible. So having a really great fulfillment solution and regularly monitoring that, making sure that's as good as it can be, managing your customers' expectations.
Yeah, very cool. Really good to hear. And that kind of that segues nicely onto what I'm going to ask you, Finn, which is we're going to be talking about spreadsheets. You can't talk about operations for too long without spreadsheets coming up. And being a couple of platform boys, we can't. We want to try and eradicate them as much as possible. But Finn, what are the biggest warning signs that spreadsheets and other manual processes are no longer fit for purpose?
Yeah, spreadsheets. I talk about them all day, every single day, and I've seen some incredible spreadsheets, and they do work for a lot of businesses. I think they're great tools. I wouldn't say they're great systems to use and terrific processes. I have seen some incredible stuff though, but I think some of the main warning signs is when brands spend more time updating and managing spreadsheets than they do actually making decisions with the outputs of them. I think very often we speak to e-com brands who have what we call like a spreadsheet gatekeeper. Someone's created it, someone knows how to make it, someone knows how to manage it, but it's not very transferable across the business, so it operates in sort of cycles. And I think with that planning cycle approach, probably the main warning sign is when planning and purchasing and sort of stock management, these processes take weeks or days as opposed to minutes, and it should really be quite a quick thing. And I think oftentimes smaller brands or growing brands spend a lot of time just actually trying to get the data to work for them as opposed to actually leveraging the right data on the outside.
Cool. Yeah, love hearing that.
Thanks.
Finn, thank you. Kim, straight over to you. Really, on as you've grown, what operational systems have been non-negotiable in keeping growth controlled rather than chaotic?
I suppose forecasting and inventory planning. Again, for me, I'm somebody who is important. Manufacturing, should I say, overseas and in Korea, and with that you are obviously we've extended lead-in time, so you're looking at 30 to 45 days to fulfill an order. Then if you're shipping by sea, you're looking between 50 and 55 days, or if you're doing rail, it's 30 to 35. So it's super long. So pre-planning that is really important, and you're also vulnerable to the likes of disasters in the world. Like last year we had a 7-month waiting time so we got our Christmas packaging in May 2025. So our 2024 Christmas packaging arrived in May 2025 due to the Russian war. So stuff like that you're really vulnerable to. So you need to really pre-plan and allow yourself these extended times for anything that may creep up.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, what was that? A whole year late then?
Literally, yeah. They were meant to arrive in, I think, October, and May. I was like, what is all this stuff coming in the door? And I was like, I didn't order anything. Then I realised it was all my Christmas packaging that I now still have for this year.
Cool. Can you still use it though?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll try and sticker it up or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but yeah, it's not great. I want new packaging this year. I don't want to have to be using the same one as last year.
Okay, James. Coming to you here. I am going to ask you all around lean teams. Yeah. Have we got many lean teams in the house today? Yeah. Shout out to my lean team crew. Yeah. That was a little silly joke for you. But anyway, how do lean teams maintain high standards during rapid expansion, James?
Really simple answer from me. People, processes, and priorities. I think when something goes wrong, one of those is broken. So whether it's someone needs more training, they weren't looking, let's say you go out of stock of an item, which sadly we have had. It could be down to a number of reasons, but it's normally down to one of those three. Someone isn't prioritizing the stock management, or someone's let it slip or isn't checking it in the right way, or the process is broken. With forecasting, you have to stay very close to the retail team, the sales team, the CEO who wants sales every single second of every day. So you really need to manage expectations and make sure that if something does go viral on TikTok, how do you manage that and have backup plans in place. So I think that's how you do it. Just consistently work on those and consistently try and achieve operational excellence, which is like chasing Usain Bolt down the street. But you just got to keep at it and keep trying to aim for the stars and keep pushing those three top things.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jays. So, Finn, how should founders think about systems investment when cash is tight, but growth is obviously accelerating?
It's a great question, Ollie. We've been planning that lean teams, shout out to my lean teams things all week. It didn't land anywhere near as well as I thought it was going to, but...
See, I thought it did.
Did you? I thought that there were going to be like raucous laughter across the audience, but...
You're sat in a good place.
Yeah. Anyway, there was a couple of chuckles. Your question was around founders, and I mentioned founders before, and I think what founders need to be doing is asking themselves basically, where are we losing money? And if it's on stock outs, identify that. If it's on overstock and having too much of the wrong products at one time, identify that. If it's on manual fulfillment mistakes, as Ollie mentioned before, shipping the wrong products, sending them products too late, delays, non-arrivals, all of that kind of stuff, identify that first. I think most importantly, like, a lot of founders view investing in tech and things like that as software spend, and what we try and get them to think about is like margin protection as opposed to software spend, right? That's the sort of core of it. I think good systems do pay for themselves. There's a lot of systems out there. I wouldn't say all of them are good. Some of them are great. Some of them are probably not worth the money. But I would say the main thing for founders to look at is plan for like 18 months, 24 months in advance. Don't buy things and bring processes in that are going to be helpful in the short term. You don't want to be ripping and replacing people. You don't want to be ripping and replacing processes or platforms. So invest in the future.
Yeah, great.
Thanks, Ollie.
Thanks, Finn. Yeah, I've been told we're nearly out of time. So I wanted to just kind of round up with one of these ones at the end, which is what is one, Kim, this is for you. What is one operational decision that completely changed the trajectory of your growth?
Again, going back to my first answer is definitely manufacturing overseas. Don't be afraid to go out and look what else is out in the world. I know people love to support local, and we did look at going local and, manufacture in Ireland, but there was just nothing when it compared to going over to South Korea and seeing how much different it was over there. So yeah, just manufacture in Korea and being able to bring that advanced technology back to Ireland.
Love that. Thank you. And James, from you. So yeah, that was one operational decision that completely changed the trajectory of the growth.
I think it was bringing forecasting aligned within the business. So it very much was someone's job, and not everybody was speaking to each other about that. And yeah, forecasting is so important and something that's kind of become a staple for us now.
Great. Well, that's all we've got time for. But yeah, thanks so much. Make some noise for the lovely panel.